There are very few things I dislike more in stories than a character being revived with little to no consequences. It really grinds my gears. Some mishap, some tragedy, some cruel twist of fate befalls them, and a short time later they back on their feet like everything's peachy keen. It's not the revival itself I take issue with, it's the lack of grit, of tension. They always walk it off like it was an itty bitty boo boo. Like they stubbed their toe and didn't just have their soul vacated from their body. I'm not planning on trying it anytime soon, but I imagine dying is pretty taxing on the spirit, and I wish more series would make it fucking feel like that. Like this is truly someone who's crested the mortal plane and made their merry way back to tell the tale. And no medium struggles more with this than shonen anime. I can't even act like it's a deal breaker. Each time they hit that kumbaya two-step with Shenron to bring Krillin's sorry ass back, I smile like a dork. But if you really want me to take your story stakes seriously, to feel the weight of any potential future losses, the frontiers of mortality have to remain vast, unknowable, and unshakable. Recently, however, a few key stories have inverted that revival trope in a way I just can't get enough of. A way that's ingrained those moments in my head. And if you can believe it, those inversions come from two uber popular shonen I don't even really like that much. Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia have cracked the code on how to revive a hero while keeping things exhilarating, without making it feel foo-foo. And they do it by understanding one very simple fact. When you journey into the void, a piece of it should come back with you. I've been researching this phenomenon, and to me, there are three key steps you need to replicate the effectiveness of this trope, and that obviously starts with the effectiveness of the death itself. Quite frankly, the gorier the better. To aggressively quote a very specific scene in 1984's Karate Kid, "Put him in a body bag!" I want agony, assault and battery. I'm talking heads cracked, limbs flailing, closed casket funeral type shit. This should be a gruesome affair. I want these boys bloody. I'm talking put on a shirt, aired out on Fox News, used as a statistic kind of bloody. Your character should be done so dirty, they AI his face on a Gucci Mane covers. Look how Bakugo gets his heart blown out. Shiguraki sees his bitch ass lacking and with a flick of the wrist, casually graces him with a chest cavity. Or how Gojo gets his shit done like a Party City pinata, like a cold cut at the local deli, violated like a human pincushion. If you tossed him in the back of a trunk, I might think he was a David victim. It may seem a bit crass for authors to bludgeon their babies in this way, but the goal here is to set the tone, to essentially remind the audience that shit ain't sweet. Gojo's death reinforces the threat Toji poses, and the fact that the sorcerer world is cruel and unforgiving, while Bakugo's big ups Shig for one and assures people that even heroes aren't coming out of this final confrontation unscathed. I need that inciting incident to be visceral so that I feel that darkness in my gut, so that when the author reflects that same darkness in the character's behavior later, we're already well acquainted. A brutal death is the perfect catalyst for a monstrous revival, because in order to create Frankenstein, he's gotta be chopped up first. Now this poses an obvious issue. Dr. Ibby, I hear you say. We're about to unravel all the tension we've coiled by bringing the character back to life. Shh. I hear ya, but hush up and observe. When Gojo takes his brief trip to the pearly gates, what happens? Riko makes her way towards a fate she was assigned at birth. She has a heartfelt goodbye with her caretaker, and on the precipice of being slaughtered like a sacrificial lamb, she's made an offer by one of the strongest men in the world to be protected, to be loved and cherished, to for once be afforded some agency and live life on her own damn— Oh shit! Oh, the humanity! That right there is the second ingredient, the balm, the remedy. In order to keep the vibe you've cultivated from being undone, something should be lost while our hero is out of commission. Not only will this serve to double the tension being felt in the meantime, it'll provide layers of tragedy that persist even once our wretched creation is taken off ice. Admittedly, My Hero skips this step, and I think it's worse for it. Having any of the heroes assisting in the Shiguraki fight perish while Bakugo's taking his little nappy nap would probably help reduce at least a little of the goo goo gaga slander My Hero gets on a regular basis. There's so much more bite when a revival still forces you to grieve. I mean, I still think about how fucked up it is that Rika, this naive little teenage girl who wouldn't hurt a soul, who's for the first time felt compelled to live, would have survived if Gojo had been there to protect her. But that's also a necessary evil. Her getting popped in the head reassures the audience that death has consequences, that we're not just shaking Stardust off our dicks here, letting everyone gallivant around scot-free. free. It also lends more context to the manic behavior Gojo displays later. Those two effects together make a perfect narrative concoction, a chemical reaction that makes our hair stand up, our pulse quicken, and our skin tingle. And authors can use that electric thrum to their storytelling advantage. So the character's been butchered, put out to pasture, and we've charged that death with narrative weight. But to understand the finishing touches that make this trope so good, we have to pay special attention to the monster's mental. When speaking on the subject of reviving characters, author George R.R. Martin had this to say: "My characters who come back from death are worse for wear. In some ways, they're not even the same character anymore. The body may be moving, but some aspect of the spirit is changed or transformed, and they've lost something." Now, we're still operating within shonen anime. Most authors are only gonna take this so far, but if you ask me, a touch of madness is all we need. When a character comes back from the dead, I don't want them to just be strong because they unlocked a new ability. I don't want them to just be relieved they've cheated death. I don't want them to just be angry they've lost something in the meantime. I want them to be all of those and 20 other emotions at the same damn time to the point it overwhelms them. I genuinely think they should be batshit crazy, ready to jump out of their body from the thrill of just being alive. Because why wouldn't they be? They just came back to life. You think they should be acting normal about this? Hell nah, I lived, bitch, and I'm making it everyone's problem. Dog, it's already so hype watching Gojo pull back up on Toji, ready to put Bell to ass. But it became earned for me when he started losing his mind, laughing like a raging lunatic, and delivering a damn soliloquy about how among heaven and earth, he alone can run that divine fade. That surge of power isn't one note. It's mingled with an undertone of sadness because he still failed, and with our realization that this forever changes his relationship not only with his closest friends, but with the very world itself as it becomes his burden. I don't just accept Bakugo's revival because it looks really rad, but because it resurfaces every damn emotion he's ever felt in his life. The boy's heart just got used as a Chinese finger trap. He's been back all of 2 seconds before being faced with the devil incarnate. His skin is bursting apart at the seams, his atoms actively deconstructing themselves from the sheer force of his own ability, and he's laughing through it. He's feeling ethereal ecstasy and calling himself the final fucking boss because he's discovering along with us that he's now reached the pinnacle of his own existence. I love it. I love this level of delusion. That insanity is infectious because it sells the fact that this is a person born again. Compared to the cold embrace of death, warm blood pumping in your veins has to feel like snorting crack off a femboy's thighs, like getting your eyelids hooked up to a car battery, like shooting your shot with an earthy alt baddie and actually succeeding. It has to feel like I used to think I just hated revivals, that characters were always better off staying in the ground. But shit like this reminds me of something important. Storytelling isn't entirely scientific. People bend and break the rules all the time. You can get away with leagues of bullshit as long as you have the narrative tools to support it. I see these authors use infernal alchemy to momentarily turn their characters into creatures, and I'm forced to reevaluate my opinion. Of course, you can bring back a hero. Just make sure I never look at them the same.
Free third. Free third. Free third. Free third. Free third. Free third.